As people grow older, especially when they have been together for a long time, whether as spouses, siblings, close friends, or even business partners, it can sometimes feel like their tolerance for one another decreases. Many wonder why those who spent decades loving and supporting one another suddenly seem to bicker, fight, or grow emotionally distant. Why do some people begin to dislike one another as they get older? The truth is, human relationships shift as people themselves grow and change. Understanding these changes can help those involved recognize the underlying reasons and do something to improve their bonds. 1. Growing apart as life experiences diverge. As years pass, individuals tend to have different life experiences that can shape their personality, outlook, and habits. Even people who started in the same place can grow apart if one partner pursues a career change, adopts a different lifestyle, faces health struggles, or engages in personal interests that the other does not share. When these paths diverge too greatly, resentments can slowly brew. For example, one spouse might embrace a more active social lifestyle after retirement while the other prefers a quiet and solitary one. Even though this may sound like a small difference, it can cause friction. When they spend most of their time separately or argue over what they want to do together, it's easy for dislike to grow, even without consciously realizing it. 2. Unresolved conflicts pile up over time. Everyone faces conflicts in a long-term relationship, but if disagreements and emotional wounds go unaddressed for too long, they accumulate like dust on shelves. Couples and friends often fall into patterns of avoiding difficult conversations, hoping the issue will go away. What they don't see is that those small grievances remain lodged in the background, only to re-emerge at times of stress, making their interactions feel tense and bitter. The years don't necessarily heal all wounds. Instead, they can magnify them. Tiny annoyances, such as one person's habits, quirks, or dismissive remarks, can come to feel like major betrayals when they repeat endlessly without resolution. Eventually, these repeated conflicts can lead to an underlying feeling of dislike. 3. Changes in personality as people age. Aging brings about psychological and emotional changes. Health challenges, hormone fluctuations, diminished energy levels, and shifts in one's sense of purpose can all lead to irritability and emotional withdrawal. Even people who were once calm and easygoing can become more impatient as they grow older. These changes impact the way they communicate, cope with stress, and show affection. In some cases, cognitive decline, dementia, or other age-related conditions cause mood swings, paranoia, or suspicious behavior. What looks like disliking one another is sometimes a symptom of an illness that alters the person's capacity to understand their surroundings and relate to others properly. 4. Differences in values and priorities. When people are younger, they often overlook differences in core values or beliefs in favor of companionship, shared goals, or mutual attraction. However, as they grow older, personal philosophies tend to solidify. Two people who may have been flexible in their youth might grow stubborn or even judgmental about religion, politics, financial decisions, or the way they want to spend their retirement. Such differences can cause deep feelings of disconnect. Instead of agreeing to disagree, one or both parties may dig their heels in, turning every discussion into a debate. This fuels feelings of being misunderstood, disrespected, or manipulated. Without effort to bridge these differences, people may begin to dislike each other simply because they no longer recognize common ground. 5. External stresses impacting the relationship. Life is rarely simple. External factors, like declining health, financial pressures, losing a loved one, or isolation after retirement, place immense pressure on people as they grow older. Stress like this often shortens patience and can trigger unhealthy coping mechanisms, such as emotional withdrawal, irritability, or blaming one another for problems that neither party can fully control. When one person in the relationship bears most of the stress and feels unsupported or unappreciated, resentment can grow. Even if they love the other person deep down, those ongoing pressures can lead to harsh words and emotional distance, making the partnership feel colder with each passing year. 6. Poor communication habits become entrenched. Communication is at the core of every relationship, and habits that form early can persist for decades. Passive-aggressive remarks, the silent treatment, nitpicking or nagging can poison even the most loving bonds. By the time people enter their senior years together, these unhealthy habits may feel impossible to break, and they create a barrier to intimacy and understanding. When two people stop truly listening to each other, feelings of resentment fester. Without good communication skills, they cannot repair wounds, clear up misunderstandings, or give one another emotional validation. Over time, these misfires create an emotional gulf that can seem uncrossable. 7. Loss of intimacy and shared joy. As people grow older, they often face declining physical health and energy. Intimacy can shift, not only sexually but emotionally as well. Shared joys like spontaneous trips, dancing together, or enjoying mutual hobbies may become less frequent. When couples stop doing things they love together, they may also lose their connection as friends and partners. A loss of intimacy, in all its forms, can contribute to feelings of loneliness and resentment. It can seem like the other person no longer enjoys your company, which naturally fuels feelings of being disliked or even unloved. 8. Feeling unappreciated and taken for granted. As time passes, especially in long-term partnerships, many people begin to feel like they are taken for granted. Tasks like cooking, cleaning, caring for a partner, or simply offering a listening ear may go unnoticed. When appreciation disappears, and small courtesies like "thank you," "I appreciate you," or even a simple hug become rare, one or both parties can feel invisible or undervalued. This lack of recognition is often experienced as emotional pain, which then surfaces as hostility or withdrawal. Once a person feels like their contributions mean nothing, they may feel little incentive to keep investing emotionally. This dynamic can cause people to dislike one another without even fully understanding why. 9. Unrealistic expectations. Sometimes people enter their later years hoping that things will magically improve with age. They might dream of a perfect retirement spent together, enjoying leisure and sharing deep conversations. When reality doesn't align with those expectations, disappointment sets in. If one partner cannot or will not meet those hopes, resentment and bitterness can grow. This is especially true when one partner expects the other to change fundamentally or become someone they never were. The resulting feeling of being stuck with someone who cannot live up to these ideals can make that person feel more like a burden than a blessing. 10. Lack of personal growth and self-care. Another common reason people may grow to dislike one another is that one or both parties have stopped taking care of themselves. Personal stagnation is a real issue. Without personal growth, people may project their unhappiness onto those around them, especially someone they spend most of their time with. Poor health habits, isolation, a lack of purpose, or unresolved emotional struggles can all contribute to irritability and resentment toward one's partner. When people stop investing in their own well-being, they often blame those closest to them for their sense of emptiness. This misdirected anger can poison their interactions with one another. What can be done? Finding a way back to understanding and compassion. Despite the struggles that lead people to dislike one another as they age, there is hope. Many relationships can be revived if both parties recognize the underlying issues and make an effort to repair them. Here are a few practical steps. Acknowledge the distance. The first step is admitting that the relationship feels tense or disconnected. Honest acknowledgement is far better than pretending everything is fine. Communicate with compassion. Make an effort to listen, share feelings without blame, and ask for the other's perspective. Even simple, kind conversations can reduce tension. Address unresolved conflicts. Seek closure on old wounds. Couples therapy, family counseling, or even heartfelt one-on-one talks can help heal years of resentment. Embrace personal growth. Take up new interests or return to old passions. Feeling fulfilled as an individual can improve patience and empathy toward others. Prioritize intimacy and connection. Spend quality time together, try new experiences, offer small acts of appreciation, and make time for physical and emotional closeness. Practice patience and humor. Aging is challenging. Sharing a laugh and offering grace to one another can lighten the emotional load and reduce bitterness. While it's true that many people do seem to grow to dislike one another as they age, this isn't an inevitable outcome. Differences in personality, health, lifestyle, or values will emerge over time, and conflict is natural. But with self-awareness, communication, and compassion, couples, friends, and family can navigate these changes together. Recognizing why resentments grow and acknowledging the underlying emotions is a powerful first step toward renewal. Even relationships that have felt strained for years can experience a turning point if both parties are willing to put in the effort to reconnect. Aging together doesn't mean you have to grow bitter or cold toward one another. It can also be a chance to grow wiser, more forgiving, and more deeply connected than ever before.